He's clearly shaken by all this. It feels like he's desperately racking his brain for a way to get out of this. It's almost hard to watch. She's Mayo Chizawa, fiancée of Hajime Yoshimi, the police officer. I'll have to talk to her about Hitomi later. We were introduced briefly earlier, but this flashy-looking guy is a private investigator. I thought they were only like that in TV shows, but I guess they're pretty intense in real life too. But Mia's amazing too, keeping a cool at a time like this. She must be used to dealing with adults by now. She was only introduced as the investigator's client. She's cool. It feels like we wouldn't stand a chance against a full-grown woman like her. Excuse me, are you new to all of this too? I guess I'm kind of just tagging along. Me too. Let's make sure to not get in the way, shall we? Yeah, right. Excuse me, I had no idea that Gamyodo was connected with Hihaku. So I'd just like to ask, was it Miss Yamamori from Hihaku who obtained the record of fates and passed it on to Araishi? No, that was not the case. Oh, my mistake. Was it Sweden Gamyodo's doing then? No, it was not. We first learned of the record of fates from Mr. Araishi. It was then Miss Yamamori that Miss Yamamori gained an interest, and extended a contract to compensate him in return for his research and findings. Then who was it that activated the Feast of Shadows to call forth the curse of the Seven Mysteries? I give you my word that we had no part in that. We had learned from Araishi beforehand that something would happen at midnight last night, and that is all. Hey, there's no way that's true. Stop lying. I must ask that you please refrain from violence. Hold on, Yoko, it's alright. The minute I learned that Gamyodo was none other than the Queen of Hihaku herself, I felt that was the case. She doesn't have strong enough spirit sense for it. Ah, gotcha. While it is somewhat shameful, if you require proof, then so be it. What, so that talk of supernatural powers was just hot air? I don't think she has zero spirit sense, but even Yaku here has more than her. I do? Also, the spirit power lingering in this park has been bothering me for quite some time. The person who died here must have had considerably powerful spirit sense. If they were a Hihaku employee, then maybe they should have been the one running things. Why, to think Shogo Okiie was so talented. At any rate, Hihaku wasn't the mastermind behind exposing the record of fates to the world, and initiating the Feast of Shadows. I think we can be sure about that. Alright. And you know about the Record of Fates Yin Scroll too, don't you? If you were researching the Rite of Resurrection in the Record of Fates, then you must have looked into the Yin Scroll as well. That's right, the Record of Fates alone wasn't enough to learn how to collect soul dregs. I'm sure you looked into many things on your own, but how much do you actually know? Who and where Seaman Tsuchi Mikado's descendants are? Were you able to find that sort of information with Gamyodo's connections? I can't reveal that. Oh. Also, this music reminds me of Persona, for some reason. Now then, I've come to hand over the Haunting Clappers Curstone like I promised. A Curstone? Thank you. I have to admit, I'm surprised that you are a man of your word. But first, I've got some questions about the Curstones you already have. What exactly do you want to know? Earlier, you said that Hihaku have collected 6 Curstones already. 6? I'd like to confirm which of the 7 mysteries they correspond to. And why do you need to know that? Because I don't trust, of course. If you really collected them like you say, you'd have no problem saying which Curstones they are, right? First, the Whispering Canal. Good, and what else? Mayu Chizawa over there has the Beckoning Light. Yep, you were the one who made sure I got it. What? Unfortunately for you, I don't feel like handing it over. So I don't think it counts as one of yours. Good to know. Anyway, do continue. Next, there's the Ever-Burning Lantern, which we gave to Hideki Araishi. So you consider that one of Hihaku's then? Whatever, we'll worry about that one later. That's 3, what about the others? Well, the others are... the Foot-Washing Mansion and the Evergreen Beach. What? Well, lastly, the Pulse Procession, if I recall. So you claim. How about it, mademoiselle? What's wrong? Those 3 are with Inspector Satsumi. I gave the Pulse Procession to him myself, so I know he's wrong. There you have it. Too bad for you, pal. If our agreement was founded on lies, then I have no duty to hand over my Curstone like I'd promised. Meaning the only Curstone you have is the Whispering Canal. And it inevitably follows that you used it to kill that young man at Kinshibori Park. Such a horrible act. And to your own employee, no less. No, there you are mistaken. To be entirely frank with you, we do not possess a single curse stone. What? We plan to collect soul dregs using any method available to us, of course, and as we needed the right. But committing murder ourselves was too much of a risk. We intended on having others collect the soul dregs for us. Is that so? Therefore, I myself have no soul dregs in my possession. It was our plan to arrange for particularly greedy individuals to receive the curses. What? It is possible Shogo Okiie came to possess the Whispering Canal because of that. But by the time I became aware of this, he was already dead. I don't believe you. Are you really trying to talk your way out of this now? Or do you really want me to believe a Heihaku employee was cursed by complete coincidence? That is the truth, whether you believe me or not. It may have been someone else entirely who took Shogo Okie's stone and killed him. I have no idea whatsoever whose hands the Whispering Canal is in now, nor where it may be. Oh, could it really be? Then it wasn't Heihaku who put the idea in Fumichika Nejima's head to get a curse stone either. Nejima? The only ones we negotiated with are Awai and Araiji. Interesting. Excuse me, does that mean you don't know the location of the remaining curse stones either? There's one that hasn't been mentioned. What about the Taiko of Sugaru? Oh, good question, by a mysterious Mademoiselle. I'm afraid we have no information in that regard either. Have you heard enough about curse stones? I have nothing else to tell you. Oh my god, they still have more to say? Oh, okay. Excuse me, Mr. Investigator? What is it, Mademoiselle? Would you be willing to give up the curse stone you have? Oh yes, you have a point. They're too dangerous to carelessly walk around with in one's pocket. However, sorry to disappoint you, that's not possible at the moment. And why is that? Ah, you don't know, do you? Then I'll tell you and our friend from Heihaku over there. I doubt any of you have attempted it yet, but it seems that curse stones cannot be given to normal people. Hmm? What? I actually tested it with the Madame here earlier. Even if you give the curse stone to someone else, the curse bearer doesn't change, and the stone eventually makes its way back to the bearer. It's almost obvious when you think about it, seeing as how the curse stones appeared to the curse bearers of their own accord to begin with. But Inspector Satsumi has collected curse stones from other curse bearers. Inspector Satsumi must be a curse bearer himself. Ah. So from what you're saying, curse stones can only be transferred between curse bearers. And obtaining a curse stone alone doesn't make someone a curse bearer, so they can't use its curse. Exactly. So they aren't quite as dangerous as you think. As for Heihaku's intentions of just collecting the curse stones for themselves, unfortunately for them, it was never going to work unless there's a curse bearer among them. That damn Araishi, how could he not know this? That must be why I sensed that I couldn't take Yako's curse stone. I returned it right away when I borrowed it from her earlier. That's precisely how it works, my mysterious Mademoiselle. I give mine directly to Inspector Sakumi later. I'll give mine directly to Inspector Satsumi later. If you know Inspector Satsumi, then I think that's best. Thank you. There we go. And then Mayu. I'll cut to the chase then. Are you the ones who killed Hajime Yoshimi? No, we did not. Don't try and play dumb now. If not you, then who? That much I don't know. While it is true that we were after the information he possessed, he was killed by someone else before we could acquire it. Which forced us to target you instead, Miss Jizawa. And that's why you forced me to talk and why I ended up with this curse, huh? Indeed, though I never thought you would escape. Well, it took a couple of miracles, but yeah, I got out. And just what information did Hajime have that you wanted? You really think you can get away without answering me now? What? Fine, I'll let someone else ask something for now. Oh. I can't reveal that. Then would you prefer I expose to the public how Gamyodo is a fraud with almost zero spiritual sense? Fine, I understand. From the results of our independent research, I found that semen... Oh my god, that's how you get the scroll, it's the talismans. That's the book. Seaman Tsuchimakodo's descendant was Hajime Yoshimi. What? Oh my god, would it... It might have been Ayame that killed him. Possibly. So that's why you went after Hajime. However, Hajime Yoshimi was only carrying a fragment of the whole. A fragment? That's right, he did say something about a fragment of an old manuscript. The location of the Yin scroll was hidden. This information was split into two and hidden in a pair of talismans, which were then passed down from generation to generation. Talismans? I see. Hajime Yoshimi was supposed to have one, but it was almost certainly stolen when he was killed. It's possible that he knew the location of the other as well. So that's why you questioned me about the things he'd inherited. The girl Hajime had been helping recently must have had it then. Oh, Michio's talisman! Yes, Michio Shiraishi was also likely a descendant of seaman Tsuchi Makoto. What? The talisman she carried as a keepsake from her father, we searched for it based on Miss Chizawa's memories. However, Michio Shiraishi was already dead. Yes, by coincidence, she happened to be closely connected to Mr. Awai, so we began our investigation there. But he was already dead too, leaving you in a quandary. I see. Mio, if we can get both of the talismans... Yep, we'll know the location of the Record of Fate's Yin scroll. Wow, sometimes the answer is right under your nose. Sometimes those answers are hardest to find. Oh. It's still Mio. Yako, let's keep quiet about the location of the talismans for now, okay? Ah, right. No need for Yumioka to know. That's a close one. Almost a late slip. Is that everything? Okay, I think that's about all we have to ask him. We'll let you off for today since you went along with all our questions nicely. A pleasure working with you. We're done here. But the information you have... The hell are you whining about? I said we're done, so scram. That's all our business as well, so I should be bidding you all farewell. Yes, right. Excuse me, Mr. Investigator, but please don't forget about that care stone. Don't you fret, I'll hand it over to Inspector Satsuma like I promised. I'm glad I didn't end up having to give it to that Yumioka. Let's take our leave, madam. With this, we'll be freed from this troublesome curse ourselves. That lady and the investigator, we should keep an eye on them. Agreed. Really? Why? I think they're up to something. Just my intuition, but still. Yeah, I wonder what that investigator really wanted out of all this. If his goal was getting information about the curse stones, then this might be bad. Oh right, I got one of those curse stones too, the beckoning light. Oh right, if you wouldn't mind, would you give it to Inspector Satsumi without using it? Yeah, sure, if you introduce me to the cop, that is. I feel like if I keep carrying it around with me, I'll start getting some weird ideas too. I just remembered. Mayu, I have something important to tell you. Hitomi! Whoa, what's with all the yelling all of a sudden? You know a girl named Hitomi Okuda, don't you? Really? Hitomi has Hajime's talisman? Yes, he entrusted it to her in a panic just before his death. He sensed an imminent crisis closing in on him, but Hitomi was the only one around that he could ask for help. That's so. I'm sorry she got left with such a big responsibility. That must mean that Hajime got killed by someone who was after that talisman. But since he gave it to someone else, they couldn't steal it like they wanted. I'll have to thank Hitomi for that. I also think it's going to be hard for us to get her to give up the talisman. Yeah, you may be right. It was Hajime's dying request to her. So you two need the talisman for something? Yeah. Personally I'd like to use the talisman as bait. Then I could get my hands on the bastard that killed Hajime. Please, I promise we'll uncover the mastermind behind all this. They probably have supernatural abilities at their disposal. Please, leave them to us. Yeah, we'll catch him. Don't you worry. Oh, look at that. You've got that look in your eyes. The look that young people get that says they'll get something done no matter what it takes. How am I supposed to say no to that? You go find them and give them what they deserve for what they did to my Hajime, you hear? We will. I'm pretty mad at them myself. If punches work on them, I'll give them a good one. Now that I can get behind. I'll leave it to you two. Nice. Now then, your next move should be to find Hitomi and get that talisman. Now, isn't there one more talisman you need? Right. But we've got a pretty good idea of where the one Michio had is. We'll have to check with Inspector Satsumi about that. We should go back to the school and call him. You got it. Okay, I'll head to the high school now and wait for you there. Perfect. It's all coming to a close, I can tell. Yeah, everything's getting very close to the end. Preparing for battle. Last resort. Oh yeah, she did mention this. I wonder if Haru's is actually linked to the other ones then. Haru and Richter rescue Mayu Chizawa and interrogate her along with Takumi Yumioka, yet they fail to gain any particularly useful information about the curse bearers. They decide to return to Haru's home when something happened. Oh, what was that? We've received an update. So what's this? Okay, you got it. Blah, blah, blah. So we received an update on the hostage situation. The 56-year-old male suspect who announced his intent to commit mass murder in Sumida City today had taken a woman hostage and gone on the run, but was found by the police in a park in Sumida after 4 PM and confirmed dead. The weapon the suspect was said to possess was nowhere to be found on site, and its whereabouts are currently unknown. Furthermore, the female hostage was not present, and the search for her continues. Interesting. If it's being reported on the news, then that lends credence to her story. He was quite shaken just moments ago, but he seems better now. You'd think it'd be harder for him to keep his cool. Anyway, I should ask about her side of the story. We don't about her side. Oh, Jesus. Oh yeah, I forgot. We did give her our address. Fuck's sake, how many times do I get jump scared by a person just being right next to me? I wonder what her intentions are. How is she able to act like nothing happened? Is this just how girls are these days? Okay, let's just talk. Well, it's just like I said, right? The female hostage mentioned on the news just now, that must have been you. Which means you killed Nejima with your own curse stone. Well, you said you'd give me refuge, so I came to take you up on that offer. What are you planning? Me? Well, obviously. I'm on to my last resort. Oh, is that a threat? Anyway, You're a curse bearer? So you're a curse bearer with a curse stone too, right? Are you surprised? Yes, I have a curse stone of my own. It's the Taiko of Sagaru. Then why go after other people's curse stones? Because killing people is bad, you know? Don't you think so too? Yeah. You're right, it's wrong to kill people for the sake of resurrection. Right, and it's not even 1 for 1, so it's hardly a fair exchange. Either way, that's why I wanted to only use soul dregs gathered by others. But that didn't work out in the end. No one had the backbone to use their curse, the world's gone soft. With no one mercilessly using their curse in pursuit of their own goals, I had to take matters into my own hands. I heard Namagaki, that young man you were with, used his curse stone too. How did you know that? How do you know that? Creepy much, are you stalking me? I may have heard it from a detective I know. Ah, there it is. Cops, bet you know a bunch. I know you type, people who boast just because they know a couple of cops, but the police is filled with nothing but scum. Man, you seem to hold quite a grudge against the force. Speaking of, this guy's really creeping me out. What's the deal with him anyway? You can explain? Even the way he moves is all weird and exaggerated. Right, I haven't introduced myself yet. I'm... no thank you. Okay. So, what were we talking about again? Oh right, Yutaro Namagaki. He's no good, honestly. He was such a wuss. I had to spare him on so many times. For him to even use his curse. And even then he was pissing his pants. And just when I take my eyes off him, he hands over his curse stone to someone. Honestly, he's such a disappointment. So that's what happened. Which is why I figured I had to do it myself, if I wanted it done right, you know? That's what my last resort is, collecting soul dregs on my own. Let me introduce myself. It's hard to talk as strangers. It is? Oh, is it? And are you okay telling me who you are? Well, I won't stop you. Do as you please. Well, I am Haru Shigima, and this is my house. My father and husband are both with the police. Is that so? Then you know that cops are just the worst people, right? Well, there are certainly many who are cold, especially with their own family. In a police family, one is always expected to just grin and bear it no matter what happens. God, I know, right? What a relief, you understand. I think we might get along. Oh, well I'm glad then. And I'm Richter Kai, private investigator. Did I ask? You're an investigator? So your job is to sneak around and follow people to pry into their secrets, right? Oh, is that why you keep probing in with all these questions? Ew. Guess there's not much I can do to change that terrible impression you got of me. Hey lady, why are you working with this dude? I asked him to look into something for me. Really? It's just that he keeps looking this way. Okay. Oops. Isn't your father a police officer as well? That man is not my father, not in name or deed. Sounds like there's some bad blood there. I've already legally cut all ties. He even had the nerve to act all high and mighty today and still refused to help me. You met him today? Yes, today. Remember that Chief Satsumi who was chasing Nejima? Yeah, well that's him, my dad. What? You're his daughter? Former daughter? I've cut ties. He never acted like a father, so he doesn't deserve the title. You know, I heard something about that Nejima guy. Apparently he wanted to get revenge on Chief Inspector Satsumi for his arrest by going after his daughter. Wait, really? And I heard the police had been searching non-stop to take you into protective custody. So that explains why the police were staking out your place too. Man, how could I have not known that? They came in such intimidating numbers. Wait, huh? Hold on a minute. Does that mean that Nejima was specifically after my life today? That sounds about right. It's a good thing you got out unscathed. Or rather, managed to turn the tables on him. Now that means legally speaking it was self-defense. But that truly was quite frightening. To think I'd have to go through this just for being related to a cop. It's a disgrace. Truly is, to cause their own child such trouble. I'm sorry. No, it's okay. You're not the one that needs to apologise, lady. I'm sorry, it just reminded me of what happened to my son. Your son, what happened? My child was also kidnapped and murdered in order to enact revenge against the police, you see. What, how awful, that's terrible, I'm sorry to hear that. Now that you say that, I do remember hearing about an incident like that last year. That must have been your son, huh? My condolences. Now I think about it, although we've met a few times, I didn't even know your name. I guess we're more like acquaintances now. You used a curse stone. So when you were taken hostage by Nejima, you used the curse stone in the gardens and swiftly made your getaway. Well, yeah. I didn't really have time to think on it. At the time I only thought of how to get out of there. Then, what about now? Could you use it again? Your curse stone? Well, the curse stone doesn't respond during the day, but it's evening now. So I tried using the curse just now, and yep, it seems I activated it. What? You're using it now? It might still be a little weak. I guess it's not supposed to be used repeatedly. But I think I could get it to work once more. Oh, is that so? Sure is, so I'll give you a final warning. It's already started, so be careful, It started? What started? The curse, of course. All that's left is for the conditions to be fulfilled. Oh. Calm down, ma'am. If using a curse, one would target a curse bearer. Meaning me. She activated her curse. The curse stones can be used already? I let my guard down. I didn't think it could be used this early in the evening. Ma'am, please calm down. What should I do? Should I keep her talking? Oh, God. Jesus. Actually, yeah, what's the Taiko of Suguru? Now, instead of talking about that, how about we talk about why you're so shaken? As I thought, you have a curse stone too. You're a curse bearer, aren't you, lady? Yes. Yes, I am. I'm sure you've already noticed. Well, yeah, around last night it was a little too obvious. Judging by your address, I'm guessing you've got the haunted clappers. Yes, that's right. There's a lot of soul drinks on the table for killing a curse bearer, you know. I'm well aware. Did you get soul dregs when you killed Nejima? Of course, his curse stone already contains some soul dregs as well. I think killing one more curse bearer will be enough for the rite. You can combine soul dregs across several stones. Correct. All it needs is the prerequisite amount. As long as you've got that, it doesn't seem to matter where you got them from. I see. Then, you won't mind if I took them, right? My, lady. You're quite motivated, aren't you? Ma'am. Tobacco? Her desire. What is your wish, Ayame? Is it really to resurrect Katsushika Hokusai? Yes, there's no life that holds more value than his. Including my own. You're saying you'd be willing to die if it meant bringing Hokusai back to life? Not all life is equal, at least not to me. A life that can birth art with the power to move hearts is infinitely more worthy. Compared to that, the life of someone like me, someone that can't produce a thing, has no value. That's unhinged. I'm still young. It's the age for wild thoughts. But aren't you the same as me? What? You've got a life more important than your own. A life you consider more important than the lives of many others. That's what you're doing it all for, isn't it? You're right. If I can save my son, I couldn't care less about my life or the lives of others. Who's unhinged now? I'm a mother. It is what it is. Dang, the feelings of a proper parent are something else. Her father? Your father, the chief inspector. I met him not too long ago. Oh really? He came off a little stiff and awkward. Yeah, as a surprise. But there was something charming about his seriousness, and he seemed like he cared a lot about his daughter. Oh, please cut it out, it's gross. You don't know a thing about us. Outsiders shouldn't put into another family's affairs. Though, he may as well be a stranger to me now. Even if you've cut legal ties, you're still related by blood. Huh? We're not related at all. Huh? He probably thought that I never noticed it, but... It wasn't hard for me to figure out that I wasn't related to them by blood. So you were adopted. Well, I got curious, so I looked into it. It was all pretty straightforward. I was a baby when they took me in. All they did was raise me. Wait a minute. Oh. My mother first got pregnant shortly after she married. But it was a stillbirth. The whole affair left a deep wound on her heart. My father couldn't bear to see it. So it was for her sake that he did it. I was a substitute, a replacement for the child she lost. He decided that all by himself. He didn't discuss it? Maybe he was trying to be thoughtful, so any baby would have been fine, as long as it could have comforted the woman who hoped to become a mother. Putting it in such a way. It's not easy to raise a child. My mother was bewildered, wouldn't you be? After being told to raise a baby that wasn't your own. But she couldn't just abandon the baby either. Yet my father just left everything to my mother, and never lent a hand. He's so damn selfish. The two of them grew apart. I watched them try and figure out how to understand each other, and the sight of it disgusted me. It was a messed up family, I tell you. I guess my presence was to blame for that rift to begin with. You shouldn't say that. I know he's bad at expressing himself and has his work, but still, that shouldn't be an excuse. But knowing all that, I couldn't take it anymore. It just made me want to hurry up and leave home and live on my own. I still rely on him for tuition or allowance, but that much is normal for most kids, right? I don't want him to start acting like he's my father now just because he's doing the minimum. I'm sorry to hear that. Sounds like it was tough for all of you. I'm sorry, you're right, it's not my place to talk about your family. Oh well, I may have said too much. To think I spilled all that when I don't even know what the conditions are. Could it be what we were talking about had something to do with the activation conditions of the haunting clappers? Who knows, Oh. Nejima. How did you kill Fumijika Nejima? I'm not telling you. I only ask because it does concern me. He was one of the reasons my child was kidnapped. There's not much to say, we talked and he cleared the conditions for my stone. Did he show any signs of remorse over his past crimes? It didn't feel like he did, no. I see. The world is full of trash men, I tell you. I agree. Well, in a way, I guess you could say you put a stop to Nejima's mass murdering schemes. How about that? There's no guarantee that I won't do it myself. Uh-huh. I picked up his curse stone. If the one-sided reed, it really is something else. Unfortunately, I can't use a curse stone that's not mine until it's late at night. Really? You okay with telling me that? Yeah, how silly of me, I'll let that slip. Tee-hee. But if that's your wish, then... what do you plan on doing if you don't get your wish? I haven't thought of that. I might just keep on trying to bring Hokusai back some other way. You really are obsessed. You and Haku's chairwoman might be cut from the same cloth. Who's that? She's like an all-powerful vortex of obsession turned to yokai-level proportions. You're saying I'll end up like her? Are you looking forward to such a future? I'd rather not have to wait until I'm old and creaking.